Brock Lesnar, could he be set to leave WWE? Reportedly, he was saying his goodbyes this past Monday night on Raw. However, the same outlet that reported this news has since subsequently tweeted that report isn't completely accurate and people are reading it the wrong way. Lots of really fascinating details regarding this one, regarding the Beast incarnate. Jay White, is he headed to WWE now that his contract with New Japan Pro Wrestling has expired? We'll speak about that. The Women's Tag Team Championship picture is expected to have many twists and turns as we head to WrestleMania 39 later on this year. What's Goldberg's current status in WWE amid his talk about a possible retirement match? Also an update on a senior vice president being fired by WWE due to a HR violation. We have details on that. Speaking of details, we've got them on the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2023. Bray Wyatt and that horror film he was filming on his WWE hiatus, that reportedly has been delayed due to Wyatt's return to WWE. And Reels released a statement regarding MLW Underground's future. Now, the Reels is on Peacock. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's start off talking about the Beast incarnate, that being one Brock Lesnar, and a fascinating drama, dilemma, and just story circulating about Lesnar's future in WWE this afternoon, this Friday, March 3rd afternoon, because according to one report, he was saying his goodbyes Monday night on Raw, and then subsequently they came out again and said, that's not what we said. So let's start off from the beginning. Brock Lesnar's current WWE run may be coming to an end, maybe, with a heavy emphasis on the maybe just there. Of course, with WrestleMania 39 just a few weeks away, the card is beginning to take shape for the event. This past Monday night's Raw saw Brock Lesnar accept the challenge from Omos for a match at WrestleMania, WWE's biggest event of the year, although it now appears that this match might be actually a lot more significant than we first initially believed, as it could spell the end of Lesnar's time in WWE altogether. According to a report from PWInsiderElite.com, the former multi-time WWE World Champion has told some people within WWE that he's, quote, finishing up soon. At Raw this past week, Brock Lesnar was saying farewell to a few individuals according to the report, and has also have said he's, quote, finishing up. However, Lesnar is not necessarily finished with WWE at that night or WrestleMania 39, a source told PW Insider. Now, it's unclear at this point whether Lesnar's deal is about to expire or if he's simply taking a long break from WWE. We don't know. Now, elsewhere in the report, PW Insider revealed that Brock Lesnar versus Bray Wyatt had been pitched for the upcoming WrestleMania event. However, Brock himself is believed to have likely requested that plans change, leading to the finish of his Elimination Chamber bout and the subsequent Bray Wyatt versus Bobby Lashley feud being set up, which had been previously reported by Fightful Select. Sean Ross Sapp put that out there. PW Insider confirmed that to be the case. So, naturally, social media went into overdrive saying, whoa, Brock's finishing up. I guess he's going to have his match against Omos at WrestleMania, then he's going to be done. That's a real key indication that Vince McMahon is actually not involved in creative, because, of course, Brock Lesnar's a Vince McMahon guy. When Vince McMahon retired last year, Brock Lesnar walked out of WWE on SmackDown. He had to be persuaded to return. Since then, he's worked happily with the Triple H regime. His booking has been very different to the booking that we had seen of Brock Lesnar under Vince McMahon, which was largely Brocking the main event, Brock wins World Championships. That hasn't really been the case under Triple H, but there had been reports that Brock Lesnar versus Omos was a Vince McMahon match, a match that McMahon had pushed through WWE Creative now that he was back in the company as the executive chairman. So it certainly had a lot of people talking. Brock Lesnar leaving WWE is a big story. Of course, he's been back with WWE since SummerSlam 2021. So for him to finish up at WrestleMania would be an odd length contract, but not atypical for Lesnar, who does have these atypical deals in terms of length with WWE. He prefers short-term contracts. But this is where it gets really interesting, because PW Insider, after news started making the round on social media that they had put out this report, PW Insider then tweeted, quote, no one at PW Insider reported Brock's WWE deal was up or that he was finished with pro wrestling. Incorrect versions of what was actually reported already floating around. Beware. Now, again, the really interesting thing with this is that they turned the comments off on this tweet, and the terminology that they've used there is really odd because they haven't outwardly refuted what has been sort of aggregated and put out there, but they're saying that what it has been aggregated and put out there isn't exactly accurate, even though it would be easy for one to go to that report, copy and paste it, and put it on social media, which is what you think they would have done. So once again, PW Insider's terminology in their tweet was, quote, "No one at PW Insider reported Brock's WWE deal was up or that he was finished with pro wrestling. Incorrect versions of what was actually reported already floating around. Beware." So they don't refute that Brock Lesnar was saying his farewells or saying his goodbyes. They don't refute that he said he was finishing up, but they do refute that his deal with WWE was up or that he was finished with pro wrestling. So it's a very strange one. Again, I'm sure we'll get more fallout about this. Brock Lesnar has certainly been a big talking point in the last couple of days, particularly the last couple of weeks, with all of these shifting WrestleMania plans, with him facing Bobby Lashley, Bray Wyatt, Omos, Steve Austin at one point. You know, it's very, very strange. And as I mentioned, if we get more information on this, we'll let you know. But certainly a really curious subplot as we get closer to WrestleMania. Now, speaking of subplots, as we get closer to WrestleMania, Jay White, what's going on with the former New Japan Pro Wrestling star? A recent report has revealed the current status of former New Japan star Jay White, following reports he's headed to WWE. It had been reported that White, who had lost a Loser Leaves Japan and Loser Leaves New Japan match recently, was likely to be headed to WWE, with suggestions he could appear on the Raw after WrestleMania 39. Now, the Wrestling Observer newsletter has provided an update, with Dave Meltzer writing, quote, "Jay White is now officially a free agent as of February 28. While all the circumstances seem to indicate he's headed to WWE, there still has been no confirmation of that. If he is going to WWE, it's not something well known within the company because many people, multiple people who normally know, haven't heard his name mentioned." Now, Meltzer had previously reported that WWE were certainly the favourite to sign Jay White, especially with AEW having a working relationship with New Japan Pro Wrestling, the company in which White lost the 2 Loser Leaves matches. Therefore, if he were to move to AEW, would he have necessarily lost a Loser Leaves New Japan Pro Wrestling when he could have continued working with that company if he wanted to, had he signed a deal with AEW? So the indication and the logic suggests that he is headed to WWE, but there's no definite and concrete details that he is headed there, but that is at least the belief. But people that would know, they don't know either way. Now, one of the big stories heading into WrestleMania is going to be the Women's Tag Team Championship, according to new reports. A report has revealed that we could see more twists and turns in the Women's Tag Team Championship picture on WWE television. In the new issue of Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer writes, quotes, "The only thing we know is that the Women's Tag Team title situation with the six women involved, as well as Bayley and Trish Stratus, has several twists and turns yet to come before the matches are finalized. Whether that means another title change back or a Stratus heel turn leading to that or something else isn't known past what we've got. We've got more storyline to get to the destination of likely 2 different matches coming out of this. But Rousey and Shayna Baszler were to face whoever ends up as the tag team champions in a few weeks." Of course, this past Monday night on Raw, Becky Lynch and Lita secured a victory over Damage Control to become the new Women's Tag Team Champions. The attempts at interference from Bayley would be met by a returning Trish Stratus after weeks of rumours hinting at her return. Stratus was originally planned to return on February 13 and then February 20, but plans changed on both occasions before she finally made her comeback on February 27. Now, what's quite interesting as well is Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler's involvement in all of this. Now, various plans have changed in WWE over the past few months, including the WrestleMania plans for the SmackDown Women's Championship. The original planned match would see Rhea Ripley challenge Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship at the event, which was then changed to Charlotte Flair. After Ronda's title loss, rumors emerged that Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler were slated for a Women's Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania. The Women's Tag Team Championship, as I mentioned, changed hand this past Monday night on Raw when Becky Lynch and WWE Hall of Famer Lita dethroned Dakota Kai and Io Sky of Damage Control to win the titles. Well, in an update from WrestlingNews.co, Rousey and Shayna's newly formed alliance was a pitch from actually Rousey herself, and that she has pitched for a tag team championship run for the two. The report notes that those that they spoke to believe that Ronda and Shayna will be getting a tag title run that will last through the spring and the summer, with one source telling WrestlingNews.co, quote, Ronda is pushing for the tag titles. That's the match she wants, and whatever she wants, she gets. Now, it's not known if the match will simply be Becky Lynch and Lita defending against Ronda and Shayna, or if other teams will be involved, particularly when you consider Damage Control. They've still got a part to play in all of this, so really interesting what can and will happen as we get closer to the showcase of the Immortals. Now, what's going on with Goldberg in WWE? Well, Goldberg's been talking a lot. He's been talking about retirement and a retirement match, and WWE owes him a retirement match, according to the Hall of Famer. Now, Goldberg recently spoke about the possibility of wrestling again in an interview with Sports Illustrated, saying, quote, you never say never, especially in wrestling, and they owe me one. That's all I can say. I made a deal with the devil, and I did my job, and they owe me a retirement match. At the end of the day, at 56, it's not something where I'm sitting by the phone waiting for a call. I've got a few ideas of how to do it on my own, possibly in Israel, so never say never. In October 2022, the two-time Universal Champion had stated he had 2 months until his contract ended. Dave Meltzer, however, provided an update in the Wrestling Observer newsletter on Goldberg, writing, quote, the WWE doesn't owe Goldberg any more matches on the very lucrative deal he signed, but the time frame for the contract hasn't expired, so he can't work anywhere else. His most recent appearance came at Elimination Chamber in 2022, where he failed to capture the Universal Championship from Roman Reigns on the show, and Goldberg, as I mentioned since then, has been very outspoken. Whether or not he gets a retirement match, logically you would say no. If it was the Vince McMahon regime, anything would be possible. Triple H, he still has yet to use Goldberg, so it does feel unlikely. More details on a senior vice president that was fired by WWE recently. An executive was recently fired from WWE for what was described as a HR violation, with more details now being revealed. It was revealed on February 24 that WWE Senior Vice President of Talent Operations and Strategy, James Kimball, had been terminated due to the board term of a HR violation. Dave Meltzer has now provided further details, writing in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, quotes, Senior Vice President of Talent Operations and Strategy James Kimball was fired last week. Fightful first broke the story and said it was due to a human resource violation. The only thing we heard is that there was an incident that happened, but no details of exactly what it was. Very, very vague, Dave. Now, he was hired in August 2020 as the Vice President of Business Operations and was promoted twice into his current position. He came to WWE after working for UFC from 2010 to 2020, where he was Vice President of Operations for the Performance Institute. Kimball was the point person for a lot of the tryouts WWE had been doing and for the NIL program with college athletes, and was a big part of the process in trying to line up top-level college athletes for the company. Per the previous report, several WWE stars and UFC fighters were, quote, surprised by the termination. Kimball had worked closely with Triple H during his tenure with the company. Fightful Select, though, did rule out any suggestion that it was Vince McMahon making a firing upon his return to the company, insisting it was a HR violation. It was an incident, as Meltzer says, which in reality means Meltzer doesn't know. An update on the Hall of Fame. Of course, the Hall of Fame, a staple of WrestleMania weekend, with WrestleMania 39 fast approaching. Some attention has surely turned towards the Hall of Fame, and we've got some updates on the arrangements for the tradition of WrestleMania weekend. Whilst there's been some discussion of who should be in the Hall of Fame, WWE are yet to confirm any names. Dave Meltzer has now provided an update on the arrangements for the class of 2023, writing in the current Wrestling Observer newsletter, quote, those at WWE said that even though there has been no talk about it nor any names mentioned, the Hall of Fame ceremony is still scheduled for March 31st at the Crypto.com Center, right after the conclusion of the live SmackDown. It's part of the SmackDown ticket rather than an additional event. Whilst fans will have to wait and see who's going to be part of the ceremony, there have been rumors of the likes of Batista, Jushin Thunder Liger, not Jushin Thunder Liger, excuse me, the Great Muta, that's the one I'm looking for. There have been a couple of names put out there, but again, we'll have to wait and see who does indeed get announced. The Bray Wyatt horror film. This was one because remember when Bray Wyatt was released by WWE and he was on the sidelines for a while, and there were all of these talks about these companies being interested in signing him, whether it be AEW or Impact Wrestling or WWE or whoever. The report was, well, Bray Wyatt's busy. He's busy doing a horror film. He's busy doing Hollywood ventures. Now, after being released from WWE in 2021, Bray Wyatt expressed his interest in acting and gained interest from Hollywood. Wyatt was specifically involved in a horror film from Colossum Studios owner and special makeup effects artist Jason Baker, who said in November 2021 in an interview that the project was set to film at the end of that month. Bray returned to WWE at Extreme Rules 2022 and has become a weekly character once again on the SmackDown brand. Speaking with Alistair McGeorge of Metro, Jason Baker revealed that the film is currently on hold due to Wyatt's WWE return. He said, quote, "What happened was I was working with Bray and Rob and then WWE hired 2/3 of the people working on it and they started slamming me with work. It's not dead, it's just we're all working over at WWE now. I'm sure we'll eventually get round to it, but alright, let's just go and do this for now." WWE's director of long-term creative Rob Fee was also a part of the project. He was hired by WWE around the same time as Wyatt's return in October 2022. Speaking on WWE bringing back Wyatt and bringing in Fee, Baker said, quote, "We were getting close and then he started talking with Hunter and then Hunter hired Rob. It was like, shit, you guys aren't going to have any time to shoot a movie because we're all going to be busy." Then Bray came back. He's like, "Well, I need you to make a bunch of stuff." I'm like, "Well, when are we going to shoot a movie if we're all busy with WWE?" It's not a bad thing. This is where he should be. I'm sure we'll get around to making that movie eventually, but let's get him back where he needs to be, and that's in WWE. Now, Baker has since then worked with Wyatt on his current projects within WWE, including his gear for the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match at the Royal Rumble in January. Of course, Wyatt is currently involved in that feud with Bobby Lashley that looks set for a match at WrestleMania. Finally, what's going on with Reels and MLW now that Reels is on Peacock? Well, Reels has released a statement on the future of MLW Underground, and the statement is pretty vague. On March 1st, Peacock announced the addition of the live linear stream of the Reels channel. However, the feed will not include MLW Underground, which airs on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern due to Peacock's deal with WWE. The channel just announced that MLW was joining their schedule in January of this year. Per Variety, MLW's deal with Reels wraps up after 10 weeks. With the debut episode on February 7, only 4 episodes have aired so far with the current agreement. On Thursday, Reels issued an official statement to PW Insider regarding the future of Major League Wrestling on their channel. It reads, quote, "No decisions have been made by MLW or Reels, and we are both committed to a good outcome for MLW, its fans, and Reels." The third episode of MLW Underground drew 97,000 viewers. Meanwhile, this past Tuesday's did not rank on the top cable 150 charts. If we get any more updates on that, we'll let you know. But the update is there's no real update when it comes to MLW on Reels. But there you go, guys. The latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Remember, you can join the WN365 roster by clicking that join button. Let me know your thoughts on today's WWE news stories in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.